In the words of the late George Carlin, BS is the glue that binds us together as a nation. Here comes a ton of it. It's time for BSing with Big Nate.
Welcome into another edition of BSing with Big Nate. You know, this whole thing started because of the coronavirus. BSing with Big Nate is a product of the coronavirus. I took it upon myself when everyone was being quarantined. We were all kind of on lockdown. We were social distancing and thought, hey, I really need to do something fun. And there's a lot of people who are having to change their whole lives because of this virus. Let's talk to them. Now I'm talking to someone who's actually had it, and I feel like it's just about time. I've done 40-something episodes of this, and, well, I didn't expect to be talking to a repeat offender, but I am joined by the lovely Chelsey Ray. Chelsey, how are you today?
I am doing much better. I'm doing good. It's a good day.
So Chelsey had COVID-19, and I have to think maybe it's because she wasn't wearing her 105.3 The Bear mask, but what the hell do I know? Do you know how you got it?
Well, hey, you know what? If you would have sent me one of those like I requested the last time, I might not be in the situation that I was in.
Damn it, I'm always to blame.
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure how I got it because the local governments down here, I don't even remember when they did this now, but it was during the time I got sick for sure. They were starting to require masks whenever you would go to restaurants or retail businesses, you know. So, I mean, I was wearing my mask when I was out. There's a potential that I could have gotten it from work, just being exposed at work because, you know, hard to talk on air with a mask.
This is true.
This is true.
But I got to ask, of course, you're down there in Myrtle Beach. Has anyone else at work had it?
Yeah, so there were a few people that tested positive. That's why I'm thinking it might have come through there, but not 100% sure. We really don't know.
So once you've got it, is there like this stigma where you're almost ashamed to talk about? I mean, of course, you've always been an open book with me, and I love you for coming on to talk about this, but is there like this, like, I don't want to tell people I've had it because of the way they're going to react, or like what goes through your mind in that scenario?
Okay, well, first and foremost, when I found out that I had it, or even when I felt like I did, the symptoms were matching up. The doctor's like, yeah, we kind of think you have this. Take a couple of days, quarantine, and then we'll get your results back, and then we'll know for sure whether or not you need to continue quarantining. My first thought was, I need to tell the people that I've been in contact with. The Saturday before, I had a little book club at my house, and I was with some of my friends that are older than me and kind of in that age group. So I'm like, oh, heck, I need to let them know. But I never really felt ashamed, or nobody shamed me. I just know that what's going on right now, you hear of a younger person getting it, and they're like, oh, they must have been going to COVID-19 parties or something stupid like that. And that just wasn't the case.
See, I've known you for years, and I can envision you like calling everyone you may have possibly come in contact with, be like, hey, I got the COVID.
Yeah, I would do that. But the good news is that I was social distancing. I hadn't really been out. I really wasn't seeing a lot of people. The book club I had here, it was me, Sam, and then two of our friends.
Sam, of course, is usually our cameraman. I notice he's not on the camera tonight.
Yeah, he's not here. He's still at work.
I mean, what's the opposite of a slacker? He's no fun. That's what we'll go with.
Said that. Yeah.
So, did he also get it?
Yeah, what's interesting is he was actually showing symptoms before I was, just a day before I was. But he was also sick and tested positive.
So he may have brought it home to you. Now, I got to ask, you may blush, is COVID-19 a sexually transmitted disease?
You know, I think technically it's not. But if you are with someone in that position, yeah, you're probably going to be, right in their face, breathing the same
Not
air,
socially distancing at all.
not not sanitizing.
You're supposed to wear a mask, Chelsey.
That would make things a lot harder and a lot hotter.
I say, not in a good way either, though.
No.
Breathing is kind of important. So I want to talk about what you actually experienced, because you had it. We're going to start. What was the test like?
Yeah, the test sucked. It really did. I went to the doctor, and thankfully my doctor, she was like really just quick and efficient. She didn't give me time to really think about the test or react. She just brought out the swab, and it is almost like just a really long Q-tip, and they do insert it up your nose to a certain point. And she did one nostril, and I guess just to be effective, sure, whatever, she did the other one, and my eyes were burning. I was like trying to get away from her, but I couldn't. The good news is that I apologized afterwards for how I was reacting. She's like, oh no, it's okay. We've had people scratching, kicking, yelling. I'm like, oh, then I handled that pretty well.
So you find out you've got, what prompted you actually, I started way too late. What prompted you to be like, hey, I should probably go get tested?
Okay, so Sam was showing minor symptoms at first, and I was too. And I got a phone call from my boss saying that there was a potential we had been exposed at work. So that's what prompted me to get tested in the first place.
Okay, and symptoms-wise, what was it like?
Yeah, so I'm going to say, this isn't obviously the case for everyone. It seems it's affecting people differently, but for me, thankfully, it wasn't anything awfully miserable or horrible. I was just sick, and it sucked. It started out with kind of a scratchy sore throat, nothing major. And then the next day is when I got the fever, which was a low-grade fever. I had a headache pretty much nonstop for a few days. That was one of the worst parts. Then it got to the point where I lost my sense of smell, sense of taste, and I had body aches. Those were my main things. I dealt with a little bit of congestion, but that was one of the minor symptoms.
What would you say the recovery time was like? Like, how long were you? I mean, actually, what really needs to be asked is, knowing what we know about COVID-19, or of course being cautious with it appropriately is so, but what would you say mentally, like for your faculties, your ability to function, like were you actually down and out? And if so, how long?
No, I wouldn't even say that I was ever really down and out. I didn't feel tired like some people did. I just knew that I had to stay at home, like I couldn't go out. I was really only sick, like had the fever, the nonstop headache for, I don't even know, time was totally off then, but 4 or 5 days. And like each day, it started out progressing quickly, and then it kind of stabilized. And then those last couple of days, it was just lingering effects. The body aches for me is what lasted the longest. And that really did go over a week.
Oh. I want to point out at some point during all of that, you did laundry and found another shirt. I'm just now observing that you're not wearing your usual easy shirt. So kudos to you. But I've also got to ask, what'd you do during that time? I'm assuming there was a lot of binge watching.
Big Nate, it was awful. You think to yourself, yeah, I don't have to go to work. I can catch up on all my programs. And in a sense you can, but you get sick and tired of it real quick. I did watch a lot of Netflix. I read a little. I slept a lot. Yeah.
That's no fun. Have you considered, out of all of this, I think there's opportunity for a new radio name. So you've been the queen of reinvention, kind of like Madonna.
Oh, thank you.
In the entire time I've known you, you've been Rene, Chelsey Ray, Chelsey Rene. And so I'm thinking maybe there's a new opportunity here. You could be Rona Rene.
That's actually really funny. I was talking to my brother when I first got sick, and he gave me the nickname Corona Chelsey. So I actually think I like yours better. It's a little more.
I'm a fan of alliteration.
Oh, yeah.
Rona Rene is almost a superhero name. And like, I mean, you could go back. It could be a whole shtick. Like, roll with it. Rona Rene, just lean into it. And, I mean, I don't think that's what Typhoid Mary did, but I've got another one written down here. Yes, I did before talking to her. I did write some of these down. If you can read my serial killer handwriting, Chelsey Ray would also be an option.
No,
Not that I think Rona Rene is the winner.
yeah, that one really sounds rock and roll to me. If you would.
Rocking with Rona Rene. See, it works.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your advice to anyone who happens to get that diagnosis?
Kind of what we were talking about in the beginning. Just be open and honest about it. And I would personally contact people that you had been in contact with for like a long period of time with no mask. And just be honest, rest up too. Like I didn't even drink the 2 weeks that I was quarantining, Big Nate. I was trying to give my body everything that it needed.
I mean, is it possible that alcohol maybe could help? Like, that actually brings me to another question. From a medical standpoint, like, what do they give you? Like, what do they do?
Yeah,
Or is it just kind of a wait it out? Because, I mean, obviously we don't have a vaccine against it. So what can they do for you? Is it just taking a bunch of NyQuil and DayQuil and calling it a day? Or
it depends on where you go, just because of the people that I know that have tested positive. I think most of us didn't get anything. My doctor just recommended Tylenol and drinking plenty of, fluids, resting up. But when Sam went, he went somewhere else. They actually went ahead and prescribed him a Z-Pack and a steroid.
of course, because we've had so many documented results with those being beneficial. Okay. That's not a platform I'm going to jump on today, but yeah, it's intriguing that all these cases and nobody really knows exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad. Are you back at work yet?
I am back at work. And I will say that I have never been as excited to get back to work. It was almost like my first day at work. You know, when you get all excited about going in and changing the world, almost that first day. That's what I felt like when I returned to work. I was just in such a great mood to get out of the house.
Were all of your coworkers like, God, here comes Chelsey. She's so excited. This is too much.
No, they were glad I was back, but we've also changed how we operate at the station now, just since some of us were showing symptoms.
They changed the locks while you were gone, didn't they?
No, but we're almost staggering our shifts, so it's not everybody there at one point in time.
Are you seeing a shift in the mentality and the way people are treating this in Myrtle Beach?
I think it's the same as it has been for a couple of months now. It's just so divided. People are divided on the topic.
All right, so we're gonna do something fun here. We're gonna do something positive because this has all been COVID-19 talk, and I don't like talking about that with Chelsey. What have you been listening to lately?
Oh man, you're gonna be so ashamed of me. You really are.
As long as it's not Wayne Newton, we're good.
Oh heck no, it's not Wayne Newton. I never even listened to him in the first place. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Gosh. I've been listening to a lot of country because the car that I drive now, it's a 2005, doesn't have an aux port. And if I use first of all, I don't have music on my phone, but if I did, I would need like the USB cord because I do have one of the volts. I don't know what it's called. But then you have to use like a radio tuner to find the signals. And so I've been listening to the country station.
Oh dear. Let's talk about your look for a second though, because this was something else that I considered the other night when I said, hey, I want to have Chelsey on. You've got to have the worst luck of any human being. Within the last 2 years, did you or did you not have a tree fall on your car?
I did. Yeah.
And this is after years of knowing you. You've had how many cars?
Well, I've personally owned 2, but I have driven numerous cars.
Yeah. There was always car trouble, and then now you've got COVID-19, and thank God you finally got a new phone, so that should be good for a while. But
I know.
Good Lord, Chelsey. I hope things trend better for you in 2021 and the end of 2020. But I thank you very much for joining me and talking candidly about this. I know there's a lot of stigma associated with it, which is unfair because it's not like you can control or see or really do a hell of a lot to prevent it. I know you, and I know that you've taken it seriously. I hope Sam's doing better.
He is. We're both doing better.
We need him back as a cameraman, and maybe we'll have you join us again down the line for something that's I don't know, a little more fun to talk about.
Yeah, here I'll make it a little bit funnier for you, so you lose your sense of smell and taste. Well, I won't say that for everybody, but majority do. That's one of the big symptoms. And Sam, I'm going to throw him under the bus here. He said that he wasn't going to shower until he can smell himself again. And his smell's not really back, but I have made him shower.
Thank God. Ooh, that's I mean, if I were showering only for the smell of it, I don't know. I'd still probably shower pretty regularly.
But you got to think we weren't doing anything. We were inside.
That's
just
true.
Watching.
There's almost a certain point of I've got to earn this shower, but to me, it's something about the routine of it. Well, Chelsey, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you taking one for the team so we could talk about this and learn more about COVID-19.
Yeah, least I could do.
We'll talk to you down the line, and we'll talk about something more fun.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Big Nate.
Thanks, Chelsey. Rona Rene.
Are you sick and tired of using those cheap, smelly blue masks? They always seem to break, and no matter what you try to do and fix it, it just doesn't work. Plus, they look horrendous, and they never fit quite right.
There's gotta be a better mask!
Now there is. Introducing the new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask. This 2-ply eco-friendly face cover is washable and reusable. And the best part about the new 105.3 The Bear Mask is that 100% of the proceeds benefit the Southwest Virginia COVID-19 Response Force. Get your new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask today.